Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another session, another episode of Candid Conversations about network marketing. With me today, as usual, is Dr. Wayne Pickstone from Australia. Hi, Dr. Wayne. Morning.
Hey, how you going, BK? Yep, and hi everyone. It's another pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, so we're gonna just get going because we want to keep this bite size and just basically things that we think might help and benefit everyone in the industry. So, Doc, what are we going to talk about today?
I think it'll be good because we discussed the year of the rat a little bit last week, and if those who haven't know about or don't know about the year of the rat, maybe go back and listen to the last episode. That's funny. I just mentioned the year of the rat, BK, and my putty cat just walked in. Yeah, her name's Mia, so she just walked in, and I think it might be nice looking at goal setting. It might be nice looking at your why, because goal setting is kind of like they're important, but if we haven't got our why, the goals can therefore fade. And I suppose a lot of people already may have actually set goals, and I think the statistic is something like 80 to 90% of people fail in the first month of a new year trying after they've set their goals, which is an interesting stat.
I think you're being generous. It's not a month, I think.
I probably am, yes.
So what is why is that the reason actually? What do you think is the reason?
I think what generally happens is we try to do too much too quick. Like if for example, I use a big example because I'm in the industry with health, we'll say we want to do an exercise program or something like that. We just want to exercise 2 or 3 times a week. And what generally happens is someone will say, yeah, I want to do it for 30 minutes. And then they'll forget that they may not have exercised for a year, or some people 10 years, but their mind goes back to where they used to exercise a lot. And in that half hour, they'll put in the same amount of effort as if they are super fit. And during that time, they're having a really good time. And then maybe 24 hours later, with the lactic acid burn and all the rest of it, and I've actually done a muscle injury, I've actually done some damage, or hopefully not that severe, or just the soreness of the butt, you can't sit down or whatever it might be. And this then actually creates a mental psychological block. I don't know if I want to do this now. You can't do it the second day. So if you said, I want to do this every 3 days a week, definitely can't do it the first day. You probably can't do it the second day because you're still too sore. And now it just pans out. So pans out to once the following week, and then all of a sudden they're not doing it at all. So what I generally suggest to people is, if you want to start exercise, just do 4 minutes. Just do minimum. So you walk away, you don't feel exhausted, you don't feel terrible, your body is easy to cope with that. Your mind goes, tick, that was nice, it was simple, etc. And the same with our goal setting in all different areas. We set huge targets, but at the same time, we don't do the little things to achieve. I know they're harsh words, I don't mean it that way, but we don't seem to do the harsh words we don't seem to be able to put the actions in place to be able to create that reality. The small things.
So
we want the
kind
big
of like
stuff.
kind of like going for the small wins, right?
Yeah. The small wins are very important.
In a way, I guess our brain sometimes we kind of gravitate towards helping to make us comfortable, and a lot of times where we are today could be potentially comfortable enough.
Yeah.
And therefore, if we set a goal that is too far away and requires a lot of effort, and we kind of like what you were just saying, that we do a 30-minute exercise and you're just sore. So I guess what you're trying to say is that we want to set up certain small goals to give us small wins to get ourselves conditioned to the fact, hey, maybe this is not too difficult and I can get it done.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. Correct. And every one of us, it doesn't matter who I've spoken to, and even elite athletes who are used to doing this all the time, to business people and entrepreneurs who may be even making 8 figures and 6 figures, whatever the number may be, we all have a challenge with doing it. Like even this morning, I wanted to go to it was time to go to the gym. And I had to literally pull myself by the collar and get there. But these days I understand that I have some days, probably 80% of the time I'm okay, but every now and again I've got to pull myself by the collar and get there. When I'm there, have a great time. And it's the same with, say, for example, someone's earning $50,000, $100,000 a year, and you now want to earn $1 million a year. That's a fair jump. Now, I'm not saying not to go for that, definitely not. But say this is the overarching goal. I want $1 million a year, okay? You're down here. Now, if you want that as your reality, all your subconscious blocks will now actually come up for you to overcome. And remembering 90% of our reality was programmed prior to the age of 7. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. Why do you want that? That's expensive. As a little boy or a little girl, this is what we're told, not negatively by our parents, but just in general conversations. But if we're in an emotional state of whatever that may be, but if we're in an emotional state that is very high, we take that on now as our reality. And these emotional blocks now will come up. And it's the same as what we're talking about with the exercise. We'll actually now go, I want $1 million a year. And an emotional block will come up that may now say, I'm not worthy of that. And we may see it as people talking to us negatively. And rather than think of that as, oh, that is something that's going to help me, we'll see that as a kind of like a negative, and then we'll retract back to our insecure self. And this is what happens all the time. And realizing and I literally ask people to write down, I call them slippery fish. I call them tentacles of thoughts that can bring us down. Slippery fish is a nice one. You ever try to catch a fish? They disappear.
Yes,
And you ever had a really good thought and you go, I've got to write that down. That was fantastic. And then about, oh, what was that? Forgot to
5
write it
seconds,
down.
it's gone. Yeah.
I forgot to write it down. It's the same with this. Like whenever you have something, and even I remember reading a book about Abe Lincoln, and he used to have a journal. Don't quote me on the number, but say he had 10 different types of emotional realities that he wanted to aspire to. So it might be non-judgment. It might be all these different emotions that he wanted. And what he would do then is one day a week, say he chose non-judgment, he would then have a tick for when he said that he was quite happy that he did that, and then a cross when he knew, oh, gee, he was actually doing the opposite. And he would do that and say, we'll just round it off to 7. And he would do that every day of the week, and then he'd go back to his non-judgment until he would have enough ticks to say that he has now conquered that particular emotional downturn or saboteur.
That's a very good way of doing something.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's a very good way of doing something.
It is, yeah. And that's what I mean by the little things. If we equate exercise with now aligning our reality in terms of that $1 million that I said, then what happens we can do. So what stops us from getting that $1 million is our own saboteurs, our own beliefs about who we are. And the same in network marketing. How do I approach people? How do I get up in the morning and do X, Y, and Z? How do I do this? How do I do this in an ethical way, in a transparent way? And as we've mentioned, why we are doing this is because I think a number of people now are starting to realize that the old way is certainly dead in terms of, not telling people what you do. Like people ask me what I do, and I says, yeah, I'm a network marketer. And, so in the earlier days, it was kind of like, hey, my full-time business is I'm a wellness practitioner, acupuncturist, a naturopath, and part-time I work as a network marketer. And I think if we can be upfront straight away, it's very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a breath of fresh air in a sense, because I think these days it is also part of the signs of the times, because these days, even for companies, They are starting to realize that everything is transparent.
Yes.
Consumers have access to reviews and information and all kinds of things that they can research on very quickly when they want to find out about a product. So authenticity becomes very, very refreshing. And it's the same for us, I guess, because if we are professionals about it and we tell people, hey, look, I'm a professional network marketer. I've chosen this as my profession. I've chosen to engage in this industry. And when you tell people upfront, sure, I mean, there are people who may not like it. That's fine. But there are people that are saying, hey, that's a very interesting. And the truth was, and we kind of, I recently read a book, or I saw a video by somebody, and he was saying that, in fact, half the time when you tell people network marketing, people actually do not know or do not understand what that means.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may not even.
Sorry.
I said, go ahead.
And even when I say to someone, I'm a naturopath, a lot of people don't even know what that is. So, and it's then, I think the important bit then, if when we're looking at network marketing, is to then just use examples. Like I'm a network marketer, like, Isogenics. I'm a network marketer, like another company might be Asana. You use a different, because people have heard of these names, or even Amway or New Ways. So all these different names, people then go, oh yeah, now I understand what that means.
Yeah.
So it's the same even with, if someone said X as what they do in their career, if you follow that up with what that then means, it makes it easier for the person listening. So probably get back to whys and goals. We've got a little bit of abstract there, but I think that was important bringing that in. So anything there else to look at?
Yeah, I think what we have just talked about is pretty important, setting up the small wins, because we kind of like fighting against it. So maybe one last thing we can talk about now is that, so if we're comfortable now and we want to go somewhere else, there's always two reasons to get somewhere. It's either a push or a pull, right?
Yeah.
So if we are comfortable, then therefore there's no push for us. Then the pull must be pretty strong to get us there, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe just a quick one, Dr. Wayne, like what would be some things that we can do, to ensure a stronger pull?
Yeah. I think one of the, probably right at the beginning when we talked about the why, you'll have to really dig deep into your why. So if we use that $1 million as an example, so it might be, you want more money. And usually when we come down to the essence of why we want something, it usually comes down to two concepts. One is around who you are, sort of like status, or, like for myself, like coming from someone who nearly failed grade 12 to now actually having a bachelor behind me and 2 degrees, like that's a status type thing. Okay. Now, if we do status from an ego, that can pull us down. But if we do status from humility and gratitude, that can actually then be very fulfilling. And the other then is we come from an aspect of love. So say, for example, I'll just use an example. If we say, and this is looking at the pull side of it with regards to the example. So, I want more money. I want to become a millionaire. So then you just ask the reason why. And I generally suggest to people ask this reason about 5 times. And the first answer may be, why do you want to become a millionaire? Why do you want money? Is because the answer might be, I usually want to be able to afford a house, a car, think of the material, going on the holidays easily. Those type of things is what people generally will think about first up. Then if you ask another question, why do you want that? Then the next answer might be, I want to provide. I want to be the provider of the family, especially if you're looking at, I'm talking about it from maybe someone who's looking at bringing in the major income, but it can be a husband and wife, of course. So it might be to provide. And then if we go again, why? It might be because this then might come into another area of status, which might be, well, I want to provide because, and this might be more a negative statement, something around, I'm concerned about what other people think if I can't provide. So therefore, I want to show that I can provide. Once again, this status thing, that's more ego-based, that one. But if we then go into why again, it might be because I want my family to look up to me. I want my family, my loved ones, I want my parents to look up to me because they were unable to have this type of lifestyle that I aspire to. So, yeah, that's good. And says, okay, why? Then the deeper reason might be because I love my family so much. I just want to be able to provide for them and just be there for him. And that might be the boom. That might be the why. So the why then might be in terms of I want certain amount of money because of the love and the essence that I can now give to my family because of the income that I've now generated. So does that bring that along at another level there for you, mate?
Yeah, I think what I got from it was we need to dig deep.
You're very deep, yeah.
Yeah, we need to dig deep. So actually that brought up another interesting idea, which I think is useful to have.
Yeah.
Sometimes when we work on our own, it is kind of hard to dig deep.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody that is beside you, that is acting as a coach or like a mentor, that process becomes easier, because when you were asking the 5 questions or the 5 times of like why would you want this, and then when the person gives an answer, ask them again, why would that help, and it goes down the line and digging deeper for them, or helping them to dig deeper. I think that was the role of a coach and a mentor.
Yes.
Which I think is a nice roundup for today's conversation. So we kind of think that what we're trying to do here is, while we are not physically in front of you, we are also kind of helping you to become like helping in a way to play the role of a coach for those of you who are listening in to the conversation, right, Doc?
And it's something that, just from my own personal experience, I realized this. One of the episodes I talked about, I never read a book until I was about 23, 25. And around about 28, 30, somewhere there, I basically realized that the way people get ahead is via having coaches. And so if I want to start up something new these days, I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel. For example, golf. If I want to start up a sport, I'll go and seek a golf coach to work out how I can actually improve my game and be the best, rather than do 2, 3, 4 years of doing all the things that may be incorrect. That is going to then I have to pull apart to basically put back together again. I did exactly the same with surfing. I went to a surf coach straight up to basically, okay, what are the things I've got to do? And then kept on going back. And even to this day, I've got a health coach, I've got a personal coach, I've got a coach who helps me with my mind-body stuff. I've got coaches that basically help me network marketing. I've got coaches that help me in all different aspects of my life to allow me to aspire to what I want to get to. And I think that's a great thing to leave, as you said there, BK, in terms of leave today's segment, in terms of that's what this that's why we put this YouTube channel together, in terms of the years of experience between the two of us that we've got to help people to move through whatever they're going through and help them to become that better person through a network marketing angle, or for whatever other reason you want to become that better person as well.
Yep, and with that, we end our another episode of our Candid Conversations. So look forward to our next episode, and we'll try to bring even more value for every one of you. Thanks, Dr. Wayne. Bye.
Thanks, BK. Thanks, man. See you, everyone. Bye.